this show has gotten right nearly every time is the dragons. Vermithor was teased to us in the season 1 finale, and now in the penultimate episode of season 2, he made his grand entrance. It's clear that much time, effort, and attention to detail was placed into making all of these dragons unique and impressive. This episode was aptly called the Red Sowing because a large number of aspiring dragon riders became dinner for Vermithor. He had to be wondering if this was his birthday since Rhaenyra was nice enough to provide him with so much to eat. The sequence, though, was horrifying. Rhaenyra watches as the people she herded in like livestock are just slaughtered. This action alone makes you dislike her. In the book, the riders went in one by one, but here she's in a hurry, so let there be mass casualties and maybe someone will emerge. This is even worse than the Dragon Pit massacre because at least there, Rhaenys was trying to escape. There is one person, though, that showed heroism. Hugh Hammer helped a woman to a spot that offered temporary protection, and then when she was in peril, he stepped forward, putting himself at risk. In a show where there are very few likable people, Hugh now quickly moves up the ranks, and he certainly earned King Jacaerys' dragon here. What was odd, though, is how such a large group of people could leave King's Landing, which Aemond has on lockdown, and then they make it all the way to Dragonstone to see if they can qualify for the Olympic Dragon Trials. Then, when they arrive, there's no screening going on here. No one knows their background or intentions, and the Queen just meets with them all in one large group. I mean, we know Rhaenyra isn't the sharpest blade on the sword rack, but this is a new low. Putting aside the possibility that the Greens could have had assassins in this group, you're just giving dragons to people you have no clue about. Another question I had was the whole scene with Jason Rhaenyra. He was the one to come up with the dragon seeds idea, but now he's against it. I guess you could say he wanted nobles to ride the dragons and not bastards, but then he mentioned something about what differentiated him from others is him being a dragon rider. So that suggests he doesn't think any of this is a good idea right now. It felt like we had contradictions and there was no continuity from the previous episode where he was enthusiastic about the idea. I did like him, though, calling out his mother for being with Harwin Strong and how that impacted her family. The best non-dragon scene of the episode was Oscar Tully. As a fledgling lord, he was reminiscent of Lady Mormont in Game of Thrones. In a series where we see such poor leadership, the young Lord Tully was a standout. I enjoyed how he commanded the scene, won the respect of his bannermen, gained Daemon's reluctant acquiescence to his plan, and became the true boss of this episode. Well, after Vermithor, of course. It looks like the writers ran out of material for Alicent, so they decided to have her just live off the grid. My biggest concern here is that they might have her doing something incredibly stupid in the finale now. Olivia Cooke has been excellent as Alicent, but this is a complete waste of time and does nothing for her character or the story. Aegon continues to be the biggest positive surprise for me this season. I've liked how he's developed into someone you can somewhat sympathize with. Larys is the only one interested in his well-being at this point, even if it's for selfish motives. If she had played her cards right, Alicent would be spending her time with Aegon since Aemond has completely cut her out. When I see Mysaria on the show, it's like an allergic reaction. I can't stand the portrayal of this character by the actress, and also how Rhaenyra has taken to her after she's known her for a couple of weeks. Rhaenyra puts her ahead of her family, her council, and her new hand Corlys. Rhaenyra's incompetence was on full display when she blew off a council meeting to speak to this woman instead. I love the scene, though, where Rhaenyra was admonished by the Dragon Keepers for bringing in random riders for the dragons. This line was perfect, and it could be an epitaph for her part in House Targaryen's downfall. One of the Dragon Keepers said, "The dragons are sacred. They are the last magic of Valyria in this sad world." Then they had their mic drop moment and just walked out on her. Aemond, for his part, isn't handling power well either. He's punishing members of the King's Guard for the King's Landing riots. The middle of a war isn't the best time to get replacement players for your most important group of protectors, and they're not to blame because they can't control the whole city. Aemond's own decisions have led to the unrest, not to mention deciding to take out his brother in the middle of a civil war. Aemond has no idea that Larys is working behind the scenes to take him down, and it's not just with him quietly pushing for Aegon's recovery, but Larys is also filtering out information too, like the rumor of Sea Smoke having a new rider. Otto remains missing. Bale has been in the background for the last 2 episodes, and the large expanse of Westeros continues to feel small despite the war, with the only focus mainly being on Dragonstone and King's Landing. Although we did finally get some developments in the Riverlands in this one, the show needs more of what we saw here, but in other parts of the realm as well. Silverwing has a new rider. She's just a little more mellow than Vermithor. Ulf doing a flyby of King's Landing was reminiscent of Aemond's first ride on Vhagar. It was funny too because it was like Silverwing wanted to take a trip back to King's Landing for the first time since Queen Alicent passed away. The imagery here was perfect. As flawed as he is, Aemond is a man of action. He wasted no time getting to Vhagar when he saw Silverwing flying over the city. I can never get enough of the resting, napping Vhagar moments. She just raises her head up here, and despite her age, she's able to get into high gear pretty quickly. In the pursuit of Silverwing, Vhagar wanted to finish the deal, and it took Aemond's persistent prodding to turn her around. Unlike over Storm's End, she listened to him this time, albeit reluctantly. The funny thing is that despite the sheer power of Vermithor, who is the second largest dragon alive, Vhagar could possibly emerge the victor in a battle against all three right now. The main reason is that Vermithor and Silverwing have new riders. With the way Ulf is handling Silverwing, if fighting breaks out, they could end up in Dorne. Also, Syrax is not a fighter any more than Rhaenyra is and would be easy prey for Vhagar. Was Aemond right in displaying caution? Of course. He sees the numbers, but Vhagar perhaps sensed that it was a battle that could be won due to the inexperienced riders of two of the dragons and Syrax being a show pony. This was a great dragon-focused episode. I continue to have problems, though, with the writing, but I did enjoy the spectacle in this one. If we get some semblance of Season 1 Daemon back, I can't wait to see his reaction to finding out that Rhaenyra has given two powerful dragons like Vermithor and Silverwing over to complete strangers. For someone as learned as Viserys, his intelligence certainly hasn't passed down to his children. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to hit the like button. If you're interested in more on House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire, listen to Caraxes and subscribe. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.